Welcome back to the South Point Arena. For those of you tuning in for the first time, welcome to Las Vegas, Nevada, as we turn our attention from the women's side of Division III basketball scene to the men's side. Gordon Mann joined by the voice and the everything of New Jersey City University basketball, Ira Thor. Ira, you're getting a little double dip action here in the NJAC basketball, but pretty far from the Atlantic coast.
Hey, who would ever thought you get two NJAC teams on the West Coast, let alone just Ramapo, which has their own apparently hotel out here. They're out here every year. But,
yes.
This would be a good experience for this Ramapo squad because they are maybe a little bit more challenged, I could say, than some of their teams in the past, just because they've lost so much experience from those great teams 2-3 years ago.
Yep.
Coach McBreen wants to see what his team has in them. Are they able to shut down a dynamic scorer? And, well, they're going to have that chance today because they will face Muskingum's Marcus Dempsey. Gordon, he is third in the country at 29.3 points per game.
Yeah, Marcus Dempsey, as you get a look at the Muskingum starters, it'll be Dempsey along with Trey Singleton, Mitch Clark, M.J. Smith, and Tyler Bardal. For Travis Schwab, the graduate of Ohio Wesleyan, and Dempsey, as Ira mentioned, number 3 in the country. It's Eric Demers of Gordon College, Jake Ross of Springfield, and then Dempsey. Those are the top 3 scorers in the country. Dempsey playing really his 3rd season. He missed one completely due to injury. Not sure if he'll do the medical red shirt or not, but he has been a difference maker certainly for the Fighting Muskies of Muskingum. What's a muskie? It's a fish. The Muskies and the Roadrunners only in Division III. You get a look at the Ramapo starting lineup there. Connor Romano, Jason Battle, Rob McWilliams, Matt Lotka, and Jordan Zagadou. Rob McWilliams leads the team in most categories. Points, rebounds, assists. But you think Jason Battle is the difference maker?
I do. Battle, only a sophomore guard out of Jersey City, went to Roselle Catholic in Jersey. Very good basketball program. 11.8 points a game. Contributes in the assists and the steals category, but what he does is he brings some consistency to the guard spot. I think he's one of the better guards in the entire New Jersey Athletic Conference. McWilliams, however, has that ability to score. He can come out in some big moments, put up 20 points, and they're going to need a player like that to counter Dempsey, who I have not seen, haven't even seen him on video yet. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing what he's able to do. And, if Muskingum's going to have an opportunity to make a run in the OAC this year, he is going to be a big part of that.
Conference that has been dominated by Marietta over the years, although today Marietta lost their first game of the season. They're 3-0 in conference, but they lost today. And John Carroll, who's 0-3 in conference, well, they won today. So anything can happen. This is Ramapo to start the game, and a foul. And the Roadrunners, as Ira alluded to, are the Vegas veterans. This is their 9th trip here to the D3 Hoops Classic. We've only had 10 of them, so they have been here every year but once. Muskingum is this is their first trip from Ohio, eastern side of the Buckeye State. Haven't had a lot of OAC teams, but glad to have the Fighting Muskies here, and here they come down the floor right now. That is Trey Singleton for the Muskies, and Battle pokes the ball away.
And the one year that Ramapo actually did not come out here in 2014-15, they went to Puerto Rico, so it's not like they were sitting home in Jersey waiting for it to snow or anything like that. Coach McBreen likes to get his team out there, get them out of the East Coast and challenge them. And come NJAC tournament time, they're always in the mix for that reason, seeing some different styles of basketball that you will not necessarily see on the East Coast.
Now they're going to get a look at 2 very different teams in their trip here this weekend. Is the Muskies with the ball. Muskies average about 78 points per game, 5-3. Their last game was about 10 days ago. They beat Waynesburg. They've won 3 in a row. And most importantly for the Muskies, since an at-large bid is not terribly likely for them, they're 2-1 in conference with wins over Capital and John Carroll. Ramapo brings the ball down the floor. Muskies and Travis Schwab trying to elevate this program into the upper half of the OAC. Schwab in his 5th season.
And Marietta losing today is demonstrating what we've talked about for a number of years, is that there is a lot of vulnerability among the top teams in Division III. There is not a dominant team. We just saw it on the women's side in the preceding game, where I think a lot of people on paper thought that George Fox did not have much of a chance against the Scranton and came out and beat them by double figures.
Yeah, top 10 matchups in the first 2 games here on the women's side as Amherst defeated Number 6, Amherst defeated number 10 DeSales, and number 9, George Fox defeated number 2, University of Scranton, as Muskies Dempsey gifts it off for Singleton, whose shot is no good. And here comes Battle, who's quick as lightning down the floor. And Battle, smallest man on the floor, with lots and lots to say to Marcus Dempsey after scoring, or rather Trey Singleton after scoring the first points of the game, and Ramapo leads 2-0.
But he is an electric player, and he's one of those guards that, again, you talked about how he's the smallest player on the floor. Just his velocity, his ability in transition to score makes him one of the more dangerous players in the Atlantic region.
Ramapo in the New Jersey Athletic Conference. 2 seasons ago, they finally broke through and reached the Final Four. Lost to Wisconsin Oshkosh, but got all the way to the national semifinals. Is right here. A little fast break there for Matt Lotka, who lays it up for 2, and the Roadrunners with a 4-0 lead.
And what was interesting about that season is I think this tournament actually was the catalyst for them. They came out here, they lost twice. They were up big against Central and blew that game. I think they also lost to Ohio Wesleyan on that trip.
Yeah.
And ever since that game, they kind of just turned that dial up. And obviously took a half-court shot against us to, to win the conference title, but they would have been in the NCAAs regardless. And the following year, made a Final Four. So this tournament, the midway point of a year, can really do a lot for a team's postseason wonders if they execute it well.
Yeah, Ramapo with some changes to their roster, too. As you look at their roster, a lot of guys who started a couple of games either aren't on there or are playing different roles. It's not uncommon for Ramapo at this juncture of the season. Very different from Muskingum, where players generally come there for 4 years as Dempsey tries the 3. Is guarded very closely by Battle. Ramapo with a 4-0 lead. This is McWilliams, who drives a nice dish to Jordan Zagadou, leaves it short. Zagadou no good, but Zagadou sticks with it. And Coach Schwab calls a timeout. His team down 6-0 early on, as the Roadrunners off to a quick start, no pun intended.
You see the disappointment there in Zagadou's face. He actually was knocking himself in the forehead, disappointed. Never see somebody so disappointed with a basket, but he had 3 opportunities there. And, I mean, he's got a lot of size inside. Zagadou's a player that, in my opinion, maybe has underachieved a little bit on the collegiate level. I think coming out of high school, he had maybe conference first team, all-conference player of the year type abilities and hasn't been quite that good. Still a very versatile player, 6'6" forward. And got to finish, though. You're not going to always get that second opportunity down in low, and he only averages 7 points a game.
Ramapo comes in off a victory, albeit about half a month ago. They won 77-76 at home over Rowan. They snapped a 5-game losing streak. They're 1-4 in the NJAC, so they've got to get things figured out and pieced together because it's only a 6-team tournament, and you really don't want to be 6 or 5 and have to win 3 games, presumably on the road, to get into the NCAA tournament.
And the NJAC is upside down right now. That pass was almost into the scorer's table.
Zagadou for 2, and Marcus Dempsey looks frustrated, and his team looks like they haven't quite entered the building yet here. They're getting run over 8-0, 16-35, and they've had exactly 0 good shots in the first 4 minutes of the game.
And talking about how the league is upside down, last year's championship matchup was Rowan against NJCU. Rowan right now is kind of in that bubble of even making the conference tournament. NJCU, my squad, of course, was a preseason favorite, but we're 2-4 in the league right now, having taken a couple of surprising losses. Montclair, who I think most people thought was the most dangerous team coming in, looks like the best team in the league, but Rutgers Newark and Stockton, both out of nowhere, are having great years and are going to be very difficult to knock off.
As once again, Muskingum has gone 5 possessions here. They've had 2 off-balance threes, 2 missed shots, and a shot clock violation. So it doesn't get much slower than that. It can only go up from here for the Fighting Muskies. As Roadrunners zipping around the court. This is Battle. Outside look for McWilliams. Zagadou is trying to post up on the shorter Muskie. Shot no good for Lotka, but he is fouled. And we'll go to the foul line. Black from the free throw line this season, not a great free throw shooter, 62%. Roadrunners as a whole shoot 66. You mentioned they're 4-6, 1-4 in conference.
And we're talking about the league, actually. Right now, Stockton and Montclair are both 5-0 in the league. Rutgers, Newark is 4-1. After that, it's a big drop-off. TC&J, William Patterson, NJCU both with 2 wins, and then Rutgers, Camden, Rowan, Ramapo, and Kane with 1 win apiece. Rowan is 1-4 after winning the NJAC title last year. Ramapo 1-4 after making the semifinals a year ago.
That is a strange grouping of teams there. You've got 2 teams that have been basically conference doormats as Dempsey gets things going in Kane and Camden, and then you've got 2 teams that have been, near the top
for a while.
Yeah, near the top of the league in Ramapo and Rowan.
Something I'll say about Rutgers Newark, though, they play some of the best defense you'll ever see, and that's why they are in this position right now. Ramapo, they have some leadership here. Of course, we talked about McWilliams, but they've lost a very valuable piece of their defensive game as Zagadou scores inside. Travis Bennett, a 6'4 senior forward, is probably their best defender. He was lost for the season against Montclair State with a foot injury. And it's his senior year, so he's graduating in May, so he's not going to get back, and that's a loss that for Ramapo, irreplaceable.
Yeah, Bennett had led the team and is still the team leader in blocks with 14.
He was averaging 8.7 rebounds a game.
Yeah. 12-2 Ramapo here. Muskingum on the other side. Their conference has an 8-team tournament, so just about everybody makes it. But once again, you don't want to be on the road for 3 games in that conference and have to play at Marietta or at John Carroll or both with a bunch of other teams in there as Zagadou is all over Carson Carter, who commits the foul.
It'll be interesting to see how the officials call both this game and then, of course, the NJCU game that followed, because NJAC, a very physical league. I was talking actually with Larry Radloff, our photographer, comparing the NJAC with the WIAC, both state school leagues, both very physical styles of play. And it'll be interesting to see in Vegas if they allow the teams to play a little bump-style basketball or if it's going to be a little tighter.
Zagadou, was expecting contact from Dempsey and just blows the wide-open layup. And 2-on-1 break there. It ends up in no points. Fighting Muskies now 1 for 5, and Dempsey has taken almost all of those shots.
That's a miss to get you yanked from the game, and that's exactly what happens here. I don't know if he was thinking dunk and then changed his mind mid-stride, but you can't, when you have that much daylight, miss a shot like that.
Jeff McBreen talking with Jordan Zagadou, who grabs a seat. Andre Morgan takes his place.
Andre Morgan won't want to miss a shot like that, or he'll be joining Zagadou.
Dempsey for Bardal. Outside, this is Singleton for 3, and it's good. Trey Singleton with the triple. Muskies trying to lead the 12-5 early on here. Muskies now 1 for 5 from behind the arc. Lotka for Connor Romano, who we've sort of seen grow up at this tournament. With the Ramapo coming here so many years. Shot is up, no good. But Morgan is fouled, and we'll head to the free throw line. Morgan on the season, a senior. He's played in every game, and this is definitely not his favorite spot on the floor. He is a 25% free throw shooter. And he hears me say that as he toes the line, and this is the first. Battle checks out of the game for Ramapo. Warren Jr. checks in for the Roadrunners. Manny Warren Jr., who is a junior, South Amboy, New Jersey.
And he misses both foul shots, so the stats hold true.
Yeah, Mitch Clark with the rebound for the Fighting Muskies. Muskingum. Dempsey trying to get free. Very good defense there by Romano. Generates the steal. 2-on-1 break. Romano checks behind his back. Got it. Count it going to the line. Connor Romano finishes the layup over Trey Singleton. And the Roadrunners are out to a 14-5 lead with 13:11 to play here in the first half.
And just good basketball IQ, good floor presence there by Connor Romano to have the wherewithal. He knows he's out in front of everybody on the Muskingum squad. Took a look back and saw where the contact was.
Romano misses the shot and makes things worse by going over the back. It's foul number 3 on the Roadrunners, so no imminent danger of a bonus.
Now, looking at the OAC standings as well, I mean, the fact that John Carroll, Ohio Northern, and Otterbein were all 0-3, maybe a little surprising as well. But, you know, Marietta's league, it's been their league for a while. Don't discount Mount Union. They're on the outside in, looking in on the top 25 right now, but they could be a team that creates some noise come March potentially for that league.
3 on the way from Romano, rattles out, and rebound controlled by the Muskies. Muskingum 2 for 6 from the floor. They've only had 6 attempts in the first 7.5 minutes. They've got 7 turnovers.
Mentioning Mount Union, they're 7-2 right now.
And with a spiffy video blog. I don't know if you've seen that or not.
No, I haven't seen their video blog.
Okay, well, I'm just going to pump his tweets up, or his hits up even more. They've got a video. One of the players on the team does a video blog on YouTube where after every game. So it's it generates lots of hits. I've watched a little of it.
You and I are going to do our own video blog.
That will not generate nearly as many hits. I'm confident of that. Ramapo on top, 14-5. McWilliams drives in, gets some separation, and let Dempsey there to grab the rebound first of the night for Marcus. Marcus, who was the Great Lakes Region Rookie of the Year as a freshman. As he drives in, gets it to fall. Marcus Dempsey, and a timeout taken, 32nd timeout taken by Ramapo, so we will keep it here. Quick look at the stats. Ramapo, 6 of 14, and Muskingum, 3 of 7. Ramapo taking twice as many shots. That's because the Fighting Muskies have 8 turnovers in the opening 8:25 of the game.
And Ramapo, that has actually been one of their strongest points this year and previous years as well. They do very well off of turnovers. They actually have a plus 6.1 turnover margin per game.
Right.
Why that's important? They have been outscoring their opponents off turnovers 22.5 to 13.1. They're getting 9 extra points a game off turnovers than their opponents, and that is a great recipe to success.
Ramapo brings a lot of guys, and here's another one. Freshman guard from Wayne, New Jersey, Mark Howell checks in for Coach McBreen's squad.
That's interesting because I went to college in Wayne, New Jersey, and I live in Howell, New Jersey.
Well, there you go.
I find some
Ira's favorite Division III basketball player steps onto the floor. Sorry, Sam Tony. 3 on the way from Latka, no good. And controlled by Singleton.
Sam Tony's sitting right up there right now.
I know. Tony, the All-American for the Gothic Knights, so we'll see in the final game of day number 2. Singleton for his second 3. He's got 6. And Ramapo, for all those turnovers and field goal attempt advantages, their lead is down to 4. Drive in, Dempsey with the block, but he got part of the arm of Manny Warren, and Warren will head to the free throw line. It's Dempsey's first, team's 5th. Warren at the line, one of those guys who did not have a lot of numbers coming into this weekend for Ramapo.
Yeah, but with the injuries, and we talked about Bennett being out, you're going to see some other unsung guys get on the court and see some time.
One of the oddities of the New Jersey Athletic Conference that we don't have tonight, but we have in the past, is guys who transfer mid-season from one team to another.
Well, we have an interesting story in that game.
Jeff Haddock.
In the next game, is Jeff Haddock, who transferred from Rowan after playing against NJCU to NJCU. So 6 days after playing against NJCU, he was on the Gothic Knights. That was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, he now lives in Las Vegas.
I saw that. I have that highlighted so he can give us some restaurant recommendations. Another 3 for the Muskies. And they're now down 15-13. Latka.
But you know who really owns his town, and it is Chuck McBreen. And not only does he bring his team here every year, you know he loves music. We've talked about it over the years on this broadcast here at the tournament. You know how he always tries to see a show. Well, this year on the team's trip out to Vegas, he saw Journey.
I That was going to be my guess. I saw the billboard driving in. They have a residency, as they call it here, playing here this weekend as the Muskies bring the ball down the floor.
I've known Coach McBreen for my whole career. He's been at Ramapo now 22 years. This is my 20th year at NJCU. But where we really realized that we have a lot in common was about probably 5-6 years ago. We're both walking out of MSG with our wives after seeing Bon Jovi.
Does it get any more New Jersey than that?
It was a random midweek in April. And I'm like, Chuck, what are you doing here?
There are only two ways that story could have ended, and one was Bon Jovi, and the other was Bruce Springsteen.
Well, my wife won't sit. She won't sit through a 4-hour concert.
There you go.
She's a one-and-done Springsteen. I don't know about Coach McBreen's wife, but I'm forced to go with my friends now. But he loves his music, and he's seen Journey out here. That's a great, maybe not Jersey band, but that's a great 80s.
Yes, it has a certain.
It's got that flair.
Yeah, it does.
That's how The Sopranos ended. That's Jersey.
That's right. Very good. 20-15.
Tony Soprano lived, we believe. We don't know, actually.
Wait, you didn't see the end of it?
No, well, they went to black. Anything could have happened.
Not on my TV.
You have a special TV from the future?
Mass subs here for the Roadrunners. Zagadou and Battle back into the game.
Probably ended better for him than it did for Oklahoma today.
Yeah, that game was over early.
Big 12 will be banned from future national championship tournaments.
Printing their Cincinnati Bengals 2021 Super Bowl champion T-shirts right now.
Somewhere the Georgia Bulldogs want that opportunity back. Absolutely incredible.
Battle, Lotka, Zagadou, McWilliams, and Romano, the 5 starters back out there. As Coach McBreen tries to establish some rhythm here. His team up 5 in what has been a herky-jerky first half. And McWilliams collides with Carson Carter, who's played a lot of minutes despite not starting. Carter's second 16 foul, so next one will be the single bonus. Muskingum has done a good job slowing Ramapo down and not letting them get into the transition. His Battle gets undercut, but no call. Ball bounces around. Lotka with the offensive rebound. Zagadou runs over a guy, but that guy was too far under the rim, and that's Carson Carter's 3rd foul. So after a very short break, Mitch Clark, the junior from Dalton, Ohio, will check back in.
Running over a guy, not legal in New Jersey.
It is if they're that close to the rim, though. You can run over a guy. Zagadou at the free throw line. Also not his favorite spot on the floor.
Nah, not a good foul shooter at all. He's very good from the field. He shoots close to 50%, although obviously the 3 misses earlier there brings down that field goal percentage in a short season. But, he's a guy that rebounds well. He's able to score inside. And he prevents kind of a mismatch problems because he at 6'6", he's kind of very long 6'6".
He's got a huge wingspan. Drive in, shot for Clark is good.
Kind of like that fighter, that 6'6" fighter who has a wingspan 3 or 4 inches longer. That's what Zagadou is like. He's very athletic. He just, to me, when he joined the Ramapo squad, he's one of those players that I kind of looked at, well, that's a future NJAC player of the year type of player. And he's been a good, productive player for them. And if they're going to make any kind of a run in the postseason, it's guys like him and McWilliams, both seniors, guys who've been in and out of the starting lineup throughout their careers that are going to have to kind of take more of a leadership role. Connor Romano, maybe, and he's a co-captain on this team, is that team leader, I'd say, at least from what I've seen from the outside looking in. But you look, Jason Battle, talked about him earlier in the broadcast, only sophomore. He's already a co-captain. Shows the significance that player is for the Roadrunners.
2019, Marcus Dempsey, a couple of free throws, and this is as close as Muskingum's been since this game started. 1-point lead for Ramapo. Muskies get most of their offense from the guard position, and there is a foul. Oh, tough call on Zagadou. He got sandwiched between Mitch Clark and Trey Singleton, I think. Zagadou gets the foul. And Ramapo with another substitution.
Well, it's interesting right now is Dempsey and Singleton have combined for 17 of the 19. I was talking to Coach McBreen prior to the game after our little journey conversation, and he said today he doesn't see a player. Obviously, Sam Toney scores a lot, but he hasn't seen a player like Dempsey. And how you slow him down, that's going to be the great challenge today, because a player like Dempsey has the ability to score off ball screens, and anything you throw at him doesn't seem to faze him.
He just hits that three to give Muskingum their first lead. Dempsey gets the bounce there. Dempsey on the season, a 46% shooter. He's actually better from three. He's a 48% shooter from behind the arc. He's from Zanesville, Ohio, which is right near where Muskingum is. Muskingum's in New Concord, Ohio.
No, but when you have a 6'1" player who has the ability to come off ball screens and is not impacted and can find their shot, makes it a very difficult player to match up against.
Dempsey averaging 30 points per game. He's got 9 with 6:17 to play, but his team, more importantly, has the lead as Dempsey will track down that errant pass.
Very good save. He was just about to touch the midcourt line.
Tanner Gensler into the game for Muskingum, and a turnover on Alex Massinelli. First action of the day for Noah Buono from Brick, New Jersey.
I was going to say our next game will feature a team that Ramapo has a lot of experience playing against in this tournament, and that's Central.
Yeah.
With Dutch sitting at midcourt watching this game.
Dempsey with the steal as he takes it away from Manny Warren, and McBreen giving the long-distance stare of death as Muskingum has got the lead, and I think it's 30-second break, so we will keep it here once again.
Well, 30-second timeout and a 4-point deficit, and we talked about how missed shots can impact the game greatly, as Muskingum right now is on a 22-10 run over the last 9:16, as Dave McHugh, our producer, points out. Zagadou missing that layup that I think he got crossed up. Well, that's 2 points right there. That's the difference between a 1 and 2 possession game right now. You cannot, in a tournament like this, where you're playing teams that you have not seen before, so many different styles thrown at you, just leave free points out there.
Well, you're also, if you're Ramapo, you're looking to build some kind of positive momentum. You lost 5 games in a row. You get a win over Rowan, but it literally was half a month ago. And you're just looking, new players, new guys playing different roles. You're just looking to get something going positive that you can build on. And even a missed shot or a bad run or whatever it is can start to feel like, oh no, here we go again. As Battle is bumped and fouled by Alex Massinelli. Battle will head to the free throw line.
And a little bit of a hand check there. Probably one of the softer calls you'll see here today, but Battle's never fazed by that kind of contact. Again, listed at 5'7", but he gets more out of his ability than most players under 6 foot you'll ever see.
Well, Battle likes this spot on the floor very much. He's a 92% free throw shooter, leader on the team. Hits the first, and wholesale substitutions for the Fighting Muskies. Micah Keith, the senior guard from Dover, Ohio, checks into the game.
Battle last year was a 2-time NJAC Rookie of the Week. I thought he probably deserved to be the NJAC Rookie of the Year. He didn't get it. It actually went to Jalen Jamison from McCain, also a very good player. I think Battle long-term is the player that is more dangerous in the future of the league.
2 other guys who checked in, MJ Smith, the sophomore from North Ridgeville, Ohio, and Tyler Bardal, so a couple of starters return for Coach Schwab. Dempsey, the pitch over his head. Muskies with a 24-22 lead. Clark, head fake, drive, baseline, leaves it short. An air ball scooped up and scored by Micah Keith, who averages just 2 points per game. But the senior extends the Fighting Muskies lead to 4.
That worked out well for Muskingum, an air ball that falls right into the hands of a player, and he was matched up against 5'7" Battle there. Easy layup to follow.
Mentioned Noah Buono in the game. This is his first action of the season, along with Manny Warren. A couple of guys who had not played to this point. Foul down low. Double bonus now for road runners. Matt Lotka to the free throw line. Lotka, senior, transferred into the program after 1 year at Division II Dominican. Only played a handful of games last year, about half the season. And as Lotka gets 1 of 2. And Ramapo continues to struggle from the foul line here. They're now 7 of 14. Dempsey, fadeaway 3. Tough shot. Marcus Dempsey. Woo. Incredible body control for Dempsey. And Fighting Muskies up by 6. Bono briefly tries to drive. Lotka for McWilliams, who's been very, very quiet here this first half. Nice save there, but only for a moment. And Dempsey tried to zip that behind the back of Warren and take it down the floor, and Warren had his left foot on the sideline as he touched the ball, so Fighting Muskies retained possession. Micah Keith. As Bardal for Dempsey.
Muskingum is shooting 50% from three-point range right now, 11 out of 17 from the field. And shots like that, little floaters, uncontested, running down the middle of the lane.
Dempsey after
doesn't bode well for Muskingum's, for Ramapo's chances here.
Dempsey missed his first 3 shots. He hasn't missed, first 2 shots. He hasn't missed 6. He's hit 6 straight. He's got 16 points as Matt Lotka scores. I have to say, Dempsey does not get a whole lot of help. They just throw him the ball. Sometimes he has to save it before it sails over the line and just say, go. It's just one-on-one, Marcus Dempsey, and here we go again. And pulls up from 3. This time misses, ball batted around and controlled by Warren. 3-on-2 break for the Roadrunners. Warren, gets undercut, and that looked painful. Warren is okay, hopefully. Warren to the free throw line, his team down 6.
And we talked about how a few moments ago Dempsey had 6 points. Well, just like that, he's up to 16. Big part of an 11-0 run for the Muskies.
Warren Jr. continues the free throw shooting woes here for Ramapo, who's shot 39% from the floor, 25% from 3. That's just 1 of 4, though. And 46% from the foul line, yet it's still 2 possessions out of this game.
And he's missed all 4 foul shots. I mean, that's just something, Gordon, you just got to get in the gym and just shoot. That's all mental right there. That's something that you can easily fix yourself.
Singleton for Mr. Muskie again. Dempsey, one-man army here. As Dempsey gets thwacked by Ramapo's Marquise Kindle, a junior from East Orange, New Jersey, and a sarcastic cheer from the Muskingum fans behind us. Dempsey looks for Singleton. Singleton off a good screen, nicely designed play. Singleton and Dempsey now combined have 27 points. Muskingum as a team has 33. As battle with a pass to McWilliams that he does not anticipate, and off the score table.
Now, Ramapo's lost a bunch of close games this year, some against good teams. They lost in a neutral site game to Colby College, who's nationally ranked.
Yeah.
I've seen them this year. They came in JSU, a very good shooting team. Lost in overtime by 6 points. Lost by 3 at Rutgers, or actually at home against Rutgers Newark, where Ramapo does not lose very much. Lost by 4 against Montclair State, another very good team that I think right now might be the front runner in the NJAC. Lost to Mount St. Vincent, which is an uncharacteristic loss for Ramapo in overtime at home. And they lost to Keene on the road by 6. So, some questionable scores this year that are un-Ramapo-like, but the fact that they also have not only been losing close games, but Gordon, they're 2-3 at home.
Yeah, they were 11-1 last year in a down year at home, so that tells you something. Is
11-1 in a down year.
Yeah.
Down year for them.
Down year for their program. Obviously not a down year for their home record.
And they still went to the conference semifinals. So even in a down year, they've found a way to get it done.
Romano short on this three, and this half feels like it can't end soon enough here for Ramapo, who's just gone into a deep funk from everywhere.
Well, it started off strong. By about the midway point, Dempsey, Singleton have just started taking over this game. Just unreal.
Wow. Left hand layup through traffic for Dempsey, who's putting on a show. He's got 20 now.
There are tournaments throughout a player's career where they can kind of emerge on the national stages. Listen, my stats are real. I'm in the show now. Well, that's Dempsey.
Yeah.
The D3 Hoops tournament is going to be a chance for him to kind of get to that next level individually on the national stage and kind of have his junior year coming out party. Kid's got 20 points in the first half, and he is for real. And still a minute left, 40 seconds left.
Yeah, two more years of eligibility because he missed all of because he only played 6 games last season. His first team all-conference the year before that. Singleton's 3, no good. Ramapo with the ball down by 10, hoping for some kind of spark. Battle flies down the floor. And Jason Battle like a lightning bolt to the rim for 2. And Roadrunners down by 8.
He's that lightning bolt for this Ramapo squad, but they're not getting enough from anybody else right now. Latka's the only player who's been producing of the starters. 4 out of 6 from the field. Just too many missed shots. When Muskingum's shooting 67% in the first half, and you're shooting 43%, which is still a fairly good field goal percentage, you're not going to stay in this game. We saw yesterday, or you guys saw, because I wasn't here yet. I was having my travel difficulties. But, you saw how St. Scholastica just shot lights out in the first half against Central.
Yeah.
I think similar shooting percentage. Central, there was no coming back from that.
Well, you even saw it in the last game on the women's side where George Fox hit a truckload of threes in the first quarter, and Scranton played them pretty evenly from there on out, but they were down 24-9 at the end of one quarter and just not able to dig their way out of that hole. So not quite that bad here for Ramapo with the basket. They can get it to 2 possessions again. Battle will give that a try. Nice step. No. Latka, yes. And that is the way the first half will come to an end. Couple of baskets from Battle and Latka. And Ramapo will finish the first half on an up note. It's the halftime here of our game. Fighting Muskies 39, Roadrunners 33. We'll take a break and come back with your first half statistics.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that. And it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
This is why we love sports. It's in the way they play, free from the pressures and all the money talk. Playing for simply the love of the game, where everyone has a shot at their definition of success on and off the field. This is what we love about sports, and what we can still love about college sports.
My name is Marcus Walker. I was All-State, won a state championship, a high school All-American, and played college and pro ball. I played because I love the game. I grind to be the best. I sweat because I put in work. I'm strong because I believe. When I want to bring it before game time, I come to the house that college basketball built, the CBE. No matter your skill, take it to another level. Elevate your game right here at the College Basketball Experience at Sprint Center.
It starts right when you hit the court. You imagine your finest moment. The game-winning shot that gets you to the dance, a monster dunk or no-look pass, and cutting down the net. Sports lets us dream of our own success and prepare us for our finest moments on and off the court.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
In any way that we can.
To get a friend home safe.
To never blame the victim.
It's on us.
To stand up.
To make our community safe for all.
It's on us.
It's on us to look out for each other at parties.
It's on us.
To be more than just a bystander.
To step up and say something.
It's on us, all of us.
To stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
I coined my definition of success in 1934. My definition of success is peace of mind attained only through self-satisfaction in knowing you made the effort to do the best of which you're capable. It's like reputation and character. Reputation is what others perceive you to be. Character is what you are.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
I used to never really talk. Ever. I was afraid if I said something wrong, everyone would laugh at me. But then I started to play golf with Special Olympics. It helped me to find my voice. And now everyone else is speechless.
Great moments are born from great opportunity. That's what you have here tonight. That's what you've earned here tonight. This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person. Competing at a Division III level created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate college, but I was really the first one to even go. Being the first one, I'm breaking that cycle, and now that I've graduated, I'm not sure what's the next step, but I know I have a lot of doors open. And a lot of those are open because I played football and ran track here at Otterbein.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school. It's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
Diving in college taught me to strive and be the best athlete I can be, but also the best student I can be. My coaches always made sure that the student comes first, because not everyone's going to become a professional athlete. So they make sure that we will do great in academics. I knew that would only open the door to my future, and I'm really excited to start my dream program for physical therapy.
Welcome back as we get you set for action here in the second half. The Muskies and the Roadrunners. Ramapo started off the game with a 14-7 lead, and then things kind of fell apart for the Roadrunners there in that first half. They end up shooting. Ramapo, this is shooting 13 of 30 from the floor, 1 of 5 from behind the arc, and 6 of 15 from the foul line. And finished after being out in front 14-2. They finished the half down 39-33. Muskingum 16 of 24. They started the opposite. They were 1 of 6 to start the half, and then ended up being 16 of 24 at the break. So shooting a blistering 67% from the floor, 5 of 12 from behind the arc, and 2 for 4 from the foul line. And much of that comes from the hot hand of Marcus Dempsey. Dempsey missed his first 2 shots. He missed 1 more the rest of the half. He finished 8 of 11 from the floor, 2 of 5 from 3, 2 of 3 from the free throw line. He is listed as he also forced 5 fouls on Ramapo. He has 20 points, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a full 20 minutes of action for the Muskies. Other scores of note, Trey Singleton had 15 points on 6 of 9 shooting. He hit 3 threes in the first half. Singleton also leads the team with 5 rebounds. For Ramapo, leading scorer is Matt Lotka. Lotka with 13 points, 5 of 7 from the floor. 8 points from Jason Battle on a couple of rebounds. But Ramapo as a whole, again, shot very poorly from the floor, and Ramapo, the one area where the Roadrunners did have the advantage, and what they did to build up the 14-2 advantage that they were unable to hang on to. They were had a 10-2 advantage in terms of fast break points, and so Ramapo will be looking to try and get the tempo pushed again here in the first game of our men's half of our doubleheader. So the women's doubleheader, top 10 matchups with Amherst and George Fox getting the victories. And now we've got basically an NJAC doubleheader with Ramapo and Muskingum, and then Central and Jersey City.
I'm Ira Thor. Couldn't resist. I'm filling until Ira actually realizes the second half has started for you, sir.
Here a foul on the floor. The 5 starters back out there for Coach McBreen. It's Jason Battle, Matt Lotka, Rob McWilliams, Connor Romano, and Jordan Zagadou.
We would have fired him at the soccer championships, just for the record.
We're more lenient here where we have more games. As Marcus Dempsey, what a circus play. He's unable to save it. Somehow contorted his body around the official and ended up throwing it inbound. Singleton with the rebound.
Contortion's a very useful skill in Las Vegas.
Yeah, well, and it's there as Singleton easily scores the bucket. And the Muskies with their largest lead of the game. It's now up to, they had a 10-point lead at one point late in the first half, so not quite there. They lead 41-38 as blocking foul on Micah Keith, who did not have his feet set. Mitch Clark, excuse me. 5 starters on the floor again for Coach Schwab. Tyler Bardal, Mitch Clark, Dempsey, Singleton, and MJ Smith.
You know, one stat that really stood out to me when we talked about the field goal percentage for the Muskies in the first half, but Ramapo just abysmal from the line. 6 out of 15. You're not going to win many games when you're shooting under 50%, and they were 40% in the first half, Gordon.
Yeah, that was ugly.
That's abysmal. That's the word you use for that. That's a part of a game that you have control over.
Jordan Zagadou somehow got matched up with Marcus Dempsey and realized that was a mistake.
Good job boxing out.
Are going to end that possession with a 3 from Dempsey, who again shoots 48% from behind the arc. He's the number 3 scorer in the country, and you're getting a good look at why.
And right there, all the credit to Clark. Does a good job boxing out. When you give Dempsey a second opportunity, he's not going to miss too often.
McWilliams for Matt Lotka will try a 3. Thank you very much. And Muskingum with the ball again. I'm not sure what you do with Dempsey here. I mean, I'm not sure. Do you run 2 guys at him? And I guess that's what I would do. Dare him to pass, try and find somebody else to score and just double or triple team him as soon as he comes across the half court until somebody else proves they can make a shot.
Nah, to me right now, I'm putting everybody I have on Dempsey. Let Singleton beat you.
Yeah.
If Singleton obviously not as proven of a player, but he's got 17 points today. Let Singleton beat you and see if McWilliams hasn't even scored yet. We highlighted him in the pregame, and he's been absolutely absent in this game. Locker right now stepped up. Battle is as advertised, but you're not getting a lot of contributions from your usual players. Romano's only got 2 points right now, 1 out of 6 for the Roadrunners. Throw multiple people on Dempsey, make him work even harder if it's possible, and make Singleton beat you, Gordon.
McWilliams checks out. Manny Warren returns. Dempsey at the free throw line where he's 3 for 4. And make it 4 for 5 for Marcus Dempsey, who's now up to 25 points. And he averages 29. He's got 17 minutes to go here, unless they pull him to the side, because his team is up 11. And Dempsey did have injury issues last year. He only played 6 games. Battle with a nice quick move. And that's the problem, though, is where does the ball go after that? Deep, deep 3 from Warren. And going to end up being an offensive foul on Zagadou on the rebound. Zagadou's third. He heads to the bench. And just the body language here for Ramapo is very poor.
Now, you look at Dempsey's stats, and he's averaging 29, but it's actually misleading because hit 5 points against Ohio Wesleyan.
Yeah.
So 5 points against Ohio Wesleyan. Every other game, basically, he's been in 30 points or more. In 2 games, almost at 40. His highest this year, 39 against Trine, 38 against John Carroll. It's amazing that you have that 5-point game mixed in, but a shooter, you're going to have an off night once in a while, and he was 1 of 13 that day. No surprise they lost that game.
Yeah. Singleton, who's had a pretty good game himself, he's got 19 points now. Muskies lead by 14. Warren drives in, pass, good open look, but again, not able to get it to follow. Morgan unable to get the follow, and then compounding things with the foul. The one thing we've noticed here from McBreen is when this team has had a different makeup and higher expectations, he's loud, he's fiery, he's colorful. I think he knows that that's not going to be the difference here for this team. He's fairly serene on the sideline. His team down 14 and has looked flat.
I'm surprised no foul was called there.
Yeah, Latka almost ran Dempsey, shoved him into the backcourt. Still time for Ramapo to get it turned around, but somebody's got to catch fire here. Latka, maybe that'll work. Latka steamrolls over his defender and gets the layup for 2.
And I think that Clark is kind of stunned that nothing was called there. He's still
certainly didn't have his feet set.
Yeah, you can see the emotion there on his face. But we've heard a little bit of the chatter from the crowd talking about the foul discrepancy in this game. But you know what? Ramapo's playing their traditional style physical basketball, and if the officials are going to allow it, then you have to adjust to it. And Muskingum hasn't done so, at least in that regard. But you know what? It doesn't matter. They're making their shots. Ramapo is not. It's as simple as that sometimes.
Latka's season high is 21 against Rowan in the last game they played before this one, as Dempsey is fouled.
But you look at the players on the court right now, obviously Latka's having a very good game. He's out there. Romano out there as well, struggling mightily. Otherwise, you got a very young squad out there for the Roadrunners. I mean, you got some unproven talent on the floor. These guys got to develop. If you're a good Ramapo, you're going to have any chance to find your way out of that deep hole we were talking about in the league standings. Obviously, it's an 18-game schedule, plenty of time.
Nice move by Connor Romano, as Romano gets his first basket.
What happens in the second half of the year, and this is traditional for most leagues, is that a majority of the games you play after the new year are in the conference.
Yep. Once they get through to the get back home, it'll be mostly conference play the rest of the way for both of these squads. OAC also a double round robin.
tournament like this a good barometer to kind of see where everybody is as you head into that ultimately so important second half of the year.
One thing about Dempsey is he is basically a free agent on defense. He is not covering anybody, and Ramapo is not forced him to, as that's a three-pointer up and good. And Roadrunners with a little bit of a spurt here, and are now down 8.
Is that the official name for that defensive style, free agent defense?
Yeah. Dempsey.
Your Phil Jackson used to teach that.
Yeah. Dempsey, oh, he missed the shot, but he has figured out that finger roll thing, hasn't he? Nice catch there from Morgan. Or Manny Warren, rather. Warren into the lane. Nice look. And a little more aggressive take there as Warren is fouled. And the foul is on Trey Singleton. Singleton's second. No foul trouble. Well, Carson Carter has 3 fouls, and Micah Clark, or MJ Clark, Mitch Clark, one of those M names. Mitch Clark has 3 fouls, but the key players for Muskingum are clean.
Now, Singleton's, for him having a great game, came in averaging a little bit over 13 a game. He's got now his 3rd 20-point game of the season. High is 23 against Capital back on December 11th it was, in a win in league play.
Nice block there from Singleton. Sets up. Marcus Dempsey's going to get called for the charge. I think that from what we've seen of Muskingum, I think the question for the Fighting Muskies is, do they get anything from their front court in terms of offense? Because clearly Dempsey and Singleton can both score, but what do they get from the other 3 guys on the floor, 2 of which are going to be forwards?
Well, when those 2 are on, it doesn't matter. But if they're not, and as you saw what happened in the Ohio Wesleyan game, where Dempsey was 1 of 13, well, then somebody else has to figure it out. You're not going to come out on top. Nobody else did, and they lost by double figures that day.
Warren with a deep 3. His shot clock was winding down off the back of the rim, no good. You've watched this Ramapo team for a number of years. Why have they always, even when they're good, they're just not a good three-point shooting team?
Just never really been their game. I mean, Bonnicum was the type of player a few years ago as a big who could step back and shoot threes, but they've always been that turnover-forcing transition-style basketball that they're going to beat you in a foot race to the rim if you give the ball away, and they're going to score inside, and that's just been their style playing their Coach McBreen. They'll have a player now and then that can hit those threes, but you could win in the end, Jack, without being a good three-point shooting team, whereas in a NESCAC, UAA, stuff like that, some of your
Centennial, those teams.
and in the private school leagues, it's funny how that works, where you're going to see in a school where everybody's in the same state that you don't necessarily have to be a team that can shoot from distance to win, whereas with some of your private schools where you get players from all over the country, you do. And why that is, I don't have an answer for that. But it's an observation I think that a number of us who see basketball from around the country can make.
See whether we get a full or it's a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it here. It's just so striking because Ramapo is both teams with 4 timeouts, we're told. Ramapo is a team that's really, really good. In Final Four, number of NCAA tournaments in a row. If Ramapo was another team, we probably would be not as kind of struck by their struggles here. But in today's college basketball, even on the women's side, it's very rare to see a team that's highly ranked or highly successful that doesn't shoot threes, where just threes is just not part of their game. And that's, even when Ramapo's been very good, that's just never really been the case for them.
And then sometimes you have the other side of that coin where you have teams that are too over-reliant on the 3, and it's live or die by the 3, and because of that, they find themselves out of a game before halftime. We're going to see a lot of that in our next game, with my squad playing NJCU. We've lost 6 games this year. Every one of them we've been outshot from three-point range by huge numbers.
Yeah.
You got to also be able to defend the perimeter against teams that can knock those down.
Ramapo's defense on the season, it doesn't feel like they're a 35% three-point shooting team, but they are, and their opponents are shooting basically the same. So they've been able to get back there and defend for the most part. Romano's step back three is good. So.
I'll show you, Gordon, man. I can shoot a three.
Roadrunners now 3 for 11. And as Romano with the steal, his team down 5. Romano pass and one-hand jam for Andre Morgan.
Just like that, it's a 3-point game, so the Roadrunners not going away. They don't have to shoot the threes, but they got one to help spark them back in, and then a very unselfish play there by Romano Lake.
Well, Dempsey had 20 points at the half, and just as I was about to say, he's gone a little quiet, and he squashes that with another 3. And Muskingum back up by 6. Dempsey now 29 points, 4 of 7 from 3.
Off 1 foot falling away.
Yeah, I would not want to play horse against him.
No. And that's actually what I was just thinking right now, is just the many ways that he can beat you because of that ability to avoid at 6'1" getting blocked with that step back 1 foot fall away shot.
You see the replay here on the fast break. Romano, this is good good awareness there from Romano. He knew he had Morgan trailing and trusted him enough to give him the ball for the throwdown. Ramapo is usually good for 1 or 2 of those a tournament. Whether they're good or they're bad, they're going to have a couple of nasty dunks. 53-47, and McWilliams now will get to the free throw line, see if this gives him a chance to get on track a little bit. I mentioned McWilliams is 0 for 5 from the floor. Here's his first 2 points. And Coach Schwab, has the distinction of being just one of 2 guys in the NCAC basketball history, and that's a league that's been around for a long time, of being first team all-conference 4 seasons. He did that at Ohio Wesleyan. The other one, Xavier Brown of Worcester. I would have guessed Nate Axelrod of Ohio Wesleyan, but I would have
Axelrod, exactly.
I would have been wrong.
Thinking.
He was not first team all-conference as a freshman. Although he was the National Rookie of the Year, I believe, so tough conference season as Morgan with the basket. Yeah, Andre Morgan has found the scoring touch from close in, and Muskingum looks perplexed and confused. Travis Schwab, the head coach for Muskingum, he perpetually looks like a guy ready to make a pitching change, doesn't he? The way he kind of strolls the sidelines. Keep expecting him to point to the left corner of the arena and look for the lefty out of the pen. It's looking down at his scorecard, trying to figure out whether he should make the double move.
All we need are some sunflower seeds and the picture's complete.
He's got that, doesn't he? He's got that kind of, I think it's the decor for Travis.
He's got the stroll mastered.
Man, he was a great player at Ohio Wesleyan. Romano, the ball deflected into the hands of the Muskies, and they're now up just 2. Let's see if Marcus Dempsey tries to take over this game.
Oh, you know he's going to try.
Yep, McWilliams is on him. Dempsey fade away 3, not this time. Rebound, though, for the Muskies. Nice job spinning to the rim for 2. It's Alex Massinelli, who does not get to shoot very often. Averages just 5 points per game, but scores there.
Well, even when he doesn't have the ball in his hands, he's able to create because a missed shot came right into Massinelli's arms.
Latko
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
You may not realize it, but these words, often used to describe someone with a mental health condition, can be very harmful. In a country where 1 in 5 people are affected by a mental health condition, it's time for all of us to step up and change the conversation. Just because someone's struggle isn't obvious on the outside doesn't mean they aren't hurting on the inside. We need to see the person, not the condition. Join with me, pledge to be stigma-free.
Colors.
But I have so much swag. Why pack anything else?
57-51, Muskingum on top of Ramapo. 11:01 to play. The Roadrunners, credit them as poorly as they played for the last 2/3 of that first half. They pulled themselves back in this game. Battle, tough shot, got it to fall. Little man with a great move in Battle. Gets the Roadrunners back within 4, and now the Roadrunners starting to use that full court press that they like so much.
Yeah, and this is obviously one of the secrets to their success. Press a team out, and that time obviously you're getting a three-pointer from Singleton, so answering somebody other than Dempsey, but forcing turnovers with that press and scoring in transition. That's how Ramapo gets back in games, and still got a lot of basketball to be played. We'll see. You know, they don't have a lot of guys in foul trouble right now, Gordon, so they have that ability to kind of take chances, risks, and see what happens.
Yeah, only 2 guys with 3 fouls are Romano, who's had limited effectiveness, and Zagadou, who's been kind of anchored to the bench for a while now.
We haven't seen a lot of Zagadou since that wide-open miss, you know?
Yeah. Battle at the free throw line again. Excellent free throw shooter, 92%. And doinks the first one. Ramapo, or rather Muskingum, brings Tanner Gensler, the freshman from Pittsburgh.
Battle's the best foul shooter in the NJAC and misses that free throw.
Free throw up and good for Battle, so he splits a pair. Roadrunners down by 6. One thing Muskingum has not done is take care of the ball as Battle, as if on cue, gets the layup. That is the 19th turnover by the Muskingum. And Ramapo within 4.
Gordon, it's almost as if you set that up.
I willed that one into being, I guess.
Battle was waiting patiently. As soon as he saw the bounce on the bounce pass, his speed was able to get right to the ball.
Shot no good, rebound, and Coach Schwab was looking for something there. I guess I don't know if he was looking for a foul or what it was. But.
Well, Lotka got him there. You know, Lotka's been very physical throughout this game, has gotten away with some calls that, you know, perhaps if this had been a tournament, say, against a Centennial school, and games are called a little bit closer, perhaps he wouldn't get away with, but it's been very liberal.
Yeah.
Free officiating so far, and quite frankly, that fits well into the NJAC style, but not there. Lotka just too much contact on that loose ball.
Not liberal enough that we're not approaching the spot where both teams have the double bonus halfway through the half, though, as Andre Morgan has himself a little bit of a rest on top of Tanner Gensler, who's got a smile about it. Gensler out of Upper Sinclair, one of the really nice suburbs of Pittsburgh. Dempsey, one-on-one, literally. As Dempsey, oh boy, I don't know where that ball was going. It looked like he was passing it for me, and I'm not much of a shooter.
I don't think that's a shooting foul at all, but
yeah,
definitely a foul on Romano.
Now, is that Romano's 5th foul? I guess he is fouled out. That's why we get the break here. So. Romano, his stat line, 7 points, 3 of 8 from the floor, 1 of 4 from 3, 2 rebounds, 4 assists in 24 minutes. 2 things that will hurt Ramapo with him departed. 1, he's one of the only guys to hit a 3 on their team. And 2, he was the primary defender on Dempsey, although I guess Dempsey has 29 points, so you can decide for yourself how effective that was. So
that's also how he's picked up 5 fouls with barely, 3/4 of the game gone by.
Dempsey now with 31, so This is a little above average for him. He's got 9 minutes to play, and this one's close enough. He's not going anywhere. He may play the full 40.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what the matchup is here against Dempsey going forward, because Dempsey's going to score 40 at this rate. He hasn't scored 40 this year.
McWilliams shot no good. Ball tipped, and Morgan, I think, is going to get called for over the back.
Yep.
And that is foul number 9 on the Roadrunners. We need to be careful that this one doesn't start to slip back to double digits, because without the 3 as a weapon, it's tough to get back into games. Jordan Zagadou will return.
And they're getting other players involved a little bit now. We saw Massinelli. Here Josh Huffman, 6'5" sophomore. But those two, Dempsey and Singleton, have combined for 54 points, almost as many points as Ramapo has as a team right now.
Huffman, just a 46% free throw shooter. Fighting Muskies as a team shoot 67%. They shoot 40%, 41% from 3, though, with Singleton and Dempsey being the primary reasons for that. Huffman gets the roll. He's got 4 points now, which is about double his season output. He averages a little under 2 per game. And Muskies push that lead back up to 9. 65-56, 9:21 to play. Battle off the Zagadou screen. Pull-up shot, no. Rebound controlled by Singleton, and a foul again on Ramapo, who keeps committing fouls on defensive rebounds. As Matt Lotka picks it up, and now it's double bonus time. Coach McBreen is always good for a line or two. He's complaining that all we're going to do now is shoot free throws. He's not wrong. We've shot a ton of free throws here with 9:13 to play.
I'm convinced that when Coach McBreen retires one day, and that's not going to happen anytime soon, he can come out here to Vegas and have his own show.
I'd love to have him as a color, and, well, we got a technical foul, I think, on Coach McBreen.
Well, I mean, we might need a bleep button a little bit, but it's okay, because it'd be for fun. He's definitely one of the more fun coaches you'll ever talk to in the NJAC.
And another guy I know you probably had a lot of interaction with. I would do a couple of times. I interviewed Jerry Matthews from Stockton.
I thought you were going to go with Jose Rabimbas.
No, he's another one. And for both of those guys, you had to do 2 interviews. The one you did off mic, which was highly entertaining, but not something that the FCC would allow you to play.
But that is true.
And
with
then
both
one
of them.
on the mic where they were different people. Matthews caught me by surprise, though, because I had looked at him from afar and saw this kind of strolling man whose grandchildren lived with him with the white shoes, and thought that we were going to get, something from the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood era, and I got Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood instead. He was extremely colorful, but one of the more entertaining interviews I had a chance to do, and Jose Rabimbas as well.
Rabimbas now the assistant coach for the women's team at Seton Hall.
Yeah. His battle with the finish.
He hit the floor kind of hard.
Yeah, that was an awkward angle there.
Grimace look on his face right now.
Ouch. 67-58. Muskingum hanging on to that 9-point lead as Ramapo tries to find ways to get stops without fouls.
We talk about some of the great coaches in NJAC history. Arguably the greatest coach of all time is actually in the crowd right now, and that's
is he here?
Charlie Brown.
All right.
NJCU head coach Mark Brown's father, who won 483 games in 25 years.
It's a lot of wins between the two of them.
Oh, yeah. Well, close to 1,000 between the two of them. And 4 Final Fours.
I think it's great as McWilliams hits or as Muskingum hits the 3 here. I think it's great that in a conference where players have moved around a lot, and, it's a state university system. You get guys transferring in and out. Want to make it easy for them or take geography out of the equation so they can get their college degree. The coaches, so many of them, have stayed around for so long.
Yeah, there's a lot of loyalty to the schools that you're at. And because of that, I mean, you see some schools. I went to William Patterson.
Okay.
And there are coaches in a number of sports who've been there for 25 years or more.
Aaron Monahan, the women's coach there, has been there a long time.
They just had their women's volleyball coach retire at the end of the season, Sandy Farrell, who've been there for 40 years.
Oof.
And their softball coach, Hallie Cohen, just announced her retirement. She had been there at least 25 years, if not longer.
And you get the sense with some of the coaches in that league, Karen Harvey at Montclair State, some of the other ones that they'll be around for as long as they want to be. Joe Cassidy retired after a long time at Rowan. (70-58) battle with the free throws here.
I'm not allowed to answer that question on the air, Dave McHugh.
What was the question? Oh, no, we're not even allowed to repeat that question on the air. Battle from the free throw line, and he has lived up to his surname here. Little guy with big heart, and Battle gets them both. Jason Battle.
Dave McHugh just applying Jersey stereotypes everywhere he goes.
19 points for Battle, 5 for 6 from the foul line. Ramapo's now got to figure out a way to stop Muskingum without sending him to the foul line. They're running 2 guys at Dempsey and daring someone else to beat him. 3 on the way, and I'll be darned, it's happening. It's somebody else. It's Tyler Bardal for 3.
And junior forward out of Fresno, Ohio, left wide open in front of his own bench and knocks it down. And Muskingum now, after getting challenged, they're starting to pull back away.
Massanelli and Bardal with 3s on the last 2 possessions. McWilliams with the answer. As Ramapo right now trading 2s for 3s. 73-62. They're not really able to, oh, well, just as about to say that, get steals from the press, but there they do. Zagadou hangs in the air. Layup is up and good. Ramapo gets it down to single digits, 73-64. They're going to need some more open court baskets. That's their version of the 3.
Transition basketball is their key, and if they can, if, and that's a big if, because right now it's not happening. Other people are beating them from 3, but if Muskingum can stop hitting 3s and they can score some points in transition, they have a chance.
I hadn't even noticed that Tyler Bardal shoots 46% from 3 until he just hit the last couple of shots.
Well, he doesn't get to shoot too many times because Dempsey always has the ball in his hands.
Probably
but
not.
Muskingum's 11 for 22 from three-point range in this game, and they're shooting 62% from the floor. And
wow.
Ramapo is shooting 47%, and it doesn't seem like it because Muskingum is just that much better right now.
They just never miss. Yeah. And if they did, it's because they were fouled. We'll check the D3Hoops.com or the D3 Hoops Classic record book for field goal percentage in a game, but unless Grinnell was here and I missed it and let a team shoot 80%, Muskingum's probably got the record at the moment. A timeout taken by Muskies. It's a full, and we'll take it with him. We'll be back and get Ira's thoughts on that in a second. Muskingum on top by 10.
It starts right when you hit the court. You imagine your finest moment. The game-winning shot that gets you to the dance, a monster dunk or no-look pass, and cutting down the net. Sports lets us dream of our own success and prepare us for our finest moments on and off the court.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that. And it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
Welcome back. Muskingum flirting with a D3 Hoops Classic record. The record for field goal percentage in a game is 64% by Wisconsin Eau Claire against Gustavus Adolphus in 2016. Right now, the Fighting Muskies are shooting 62%. They're shooting 50% from 3.
And of course, 2 years ago to this day, Ramapo was on the short side of the most three-pointers ever made. And that was when Ohio Wesleyan
25, my
25 for 53 against Ramapo in a 98-69 win here in Vegas.
Ohio Wesleyan followed that up by hitting 14. They had 39 threes in 2 games against Ramapo and Whitman. 76-66.
Ohio Wesleyan had one of the great tournaments I've ever seen anywhere. You know, they won that game. They lost the next day, and to this day, still the best Division III game I've ever seen against Whitman.
Yeah.
I don't know how Dave feels about that game, but in my opinion, still to this day, that Ohio Wesleyan-Whitman game, the best Division III game I've ever seen.
Technical foul on the bench. 78-66 as Ramapo has cost itself 3 points on technical fouls here. Morgan, baseline, jumper in the paint is good. And Ramapo hanging around, but has not been able to get this back within a couple of possessions in a while. Tyler Bardell is wide open, and that's a mistake. Dempsey will slow things down a little bit. Coach Schwab says run the offense. 14 seconds to play, or on the shot clock. Wide open look at a three, and that is up and good. Now Muskingum now shooting 12 of 23. The record for three-point percentage in a game is almost 70%. Wisconsin superior as that's a three, a deep three.
Well, somebody answered here, but you know, Mitch Clark on that last three in the corner had so much time to just set his feet and shoot. Players at this level are not going to miss when you have that much space, that much time.
Thanks to Larry Radloff, our photographer, for these notes from the sideline. Coach Schwab saying you can't get trapped on the sidelines. They're going to start to gamble. And it's what Ramapo needs to do. Coach McBreen saying you can't be complacent. You need to shoot the ball. And there's an adjective that we won't repeat on modifying the word ball. 81-72, Muskingum on top by 9. Dempsey toying with Rob McWilliams. Dempsey has allowed his teammates here to take over. Singleton is fouled. And Singleton's got 23 points himself. Singleton's shot up and good. 82-72. And second one is also good for Trey Singleton. 83-72. Credit the Muskies. Dempsey has had a great game. He's got 33 points, but it's been the rest of the team that has kept this lead where it is. The layup is up and good for Manny Warren. Ramapo's starting to heat up from the floor, now shooting almost 50% themselves, but has not made any headway here against Muskingum because Muskingum's shooting the same percentage but from three.
To shoot 50% and be behind by almost double figures is just incredible.
Yeah, Muskingum draws the foul on Matt Lotka.
Should mention on that last basket by Singleton, that's 25 points. That is a new career high for him. He had scored 23 points once as a freshman last year, once this year. And he's near double territory today, just a rebound short. So he's had a great game in the shadows of Dempsey.
Dempsey hits both free throws. Back up to an 11-point lead. Now Dempsey with 35 points.
Dempsey is 10 out of 16 from the field, a volume shooter who makes most of them. He's 11 of 13 from the line.
Shot up, no good. Rebound, nicely done. Layup up and good. And Ramapo going to take a quick timeout as Andre Morgan gets the basket. Ramapo going to take a break, see if it's a 30 or a full. The officials waiting to hear, and it is a full. We will take it. Marcus Dempsey getting close to a record. We'll tell you what that record is and how close he is when we come back after this.
The love of the game. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that, a lot more.
Sure, the game is important, but as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics, and in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
You can make a difference.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III in athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Marcus Dempsey now 35 points. That is 5th most in a D3Hoops.com Classic game. The record is 40 by Nate Axelrod. And Dempsey's got his chance here. His team up by 9 with 4:22 to play.
Dempsey has not scored 40 this year.
No, I think we've had 2 games with a 50-point score this year, but have not had as good as Ross and Dempsey and Demers are. As Dempsey, that cost him an assist as he was looking for. He's also nearing a triple-double. No, double-double. He's only got 1 rebound. Never mind. McWilliams, head fake. Rare stop here for Ramapo. Let's see if they can capitalize on it. Down by 9. Battle off the Morgan screen. Into the trees. Pulls back out. 7 on the shot clock. Battle shakes. Gives it to Lotka. Lotka turnaround. Got it. Matt Lotka with the hook shot. And Ramapo does get that basket. Up by 7. Dempsey gives the ball off. Singleton as Morgan avoids the foul. This is a 3-on-1 break. And reverse layup. No good. And Ramapo comes down with the rebound as MJ Clark doinks it. Or Mitch Clark, excuse me. Outside, Lotka won't take the 3. His team down by 7. Important for Ramapo to get baskets every single possession here, knowing that they're unlikely to get a 3, although McWilliams will try and trade that shot. No good, and all black and red jerseys around it. I'm a little disappointed. Muskingum's official color scheme is black and magenta. Yes, magenta, but no magenta in the jerseys here for the Fighting Muskies. Dempsey up the floor, under 3 minutes to play. As McWilliams has done a pretty good job on Dempsey. As Dempsey kicks out, open look, 3 on the way, got it. Taylor Bardal, 3rd 3 of the second half, and that one probably puts it just about out of reach. Just 2 minutes left. Battle's shot's no good. Lotka gets it. Miami Warren will load up and fire to 3. That's no good. Rebound controlled by Bardal. And Dempsey will bring the ball down the floor. His team up by 10, 2:22 to play. Dempsey and McWilliams.
And by the way, we did mention while Dempsey hasn't scored 40 this year, he certainly has in his career. 4 40-point games in his career, all as a sophomore, including 57.
Wow, holy cow.
I actually had to look at that twice, thought I misread. He scored 57 December 30th of his 2018 season at Oberlin. They lost that game 111-104. It was a 48-point game in there, a 42 and a 40.
Now, Muskingum has grabbed 2 offensive rebounds and is now going to just run the whole. Well, no, they're not, because Figleton gets fouled.
It's one thing to be a volume shooter. It's another thing to be a volume shooter who makes almost all of his shots.
Yeah.
He scored 48 against Madai as a sophomore. 48 points, 15 out of 20 from the floor. That's just unheard of. I mean, you can't shoot 15 out of 20 in one of those video arcade games.
Yeah, he's a special shooter.
And we talked about the defense may be his Achilles heel.
Yeah, I was as I was thinking about the other players. Eric Demers from Gordon, I haven't watched a whole lot. I would take Jake Ross over Dempsey because of Ross's defensive prowess.
He's a good defensive player at Springfield.
But Dempsey is a special scorer, and there's a basket there for Ramapo's Marquise Kindle. His first basket of the night. Ramapo down by 10 with 72 seconds to play as Dempsey and the Fighting Muskies will improve to 6-3 on the season. Muskingum will improve, extend their winning streak to 4 straight games as well. Oops. Bardal has that slip through his hands, but Bardell's had a good second half here. He's hit a bunch of threes. He's got 9 points on 3 for 4 from behind the arc. Muskingum, 13 of 25 or 52% from 3. Battle down the floor. McWilliams, pull up from the foul line. Got it. Rob McWilliams for 2. He's got 7 points. 44 seconds to play. 8-point lead for the Roadrunners. As Dempsey will just run some clock here. For Singleton.
Now, Ramapo tomorrow will have, I believe, St. Scholastica, if I remember the schedule correctly.
Yep, that's right.
You know, another team that came out shooting very well in their first game of the tournament. Ramapo is going to have to find a way to defend that 3 if they don't want to leave Las Vegas 0-2 for the second time in 3 years.
Free throw up and good for Trey Singleton. Singleton well above his average. Averages 14 points per game, but he's going to finish, barring a late foul, with 27. Battle for 3. Nope. And rebound by Massinelli. And up ahead for Dempsey, who will just run out the last 11 seconds here. Impressive performance for Division III's third leading scorer, Marcus Dempsey. Trey Singleton had 28, but it was the other guys on the team who came up big down the stretch to preserve what ends up being a 9-point win for the Fighting Muskies of Muskingum College. Your final score, Muskingum 91, Ramapo College 82. Thoughts on this one?
You know, final thoughts is that Dempsey has now on a national stage shown that he's every bit as talented and skillful as his gaudy stats have proven, but there are some other guys who can beat you. Singleton, obviously, with a career game today, double his scoring average. And when those two decided that, you know what, it was time for someone else to share in the spotlight, you know, they were found in the second half. There are other members of this squad that can hit the 3. And when you can shoot, I think it was 52% from three-point range, 13 out of 25, you're going to be a very difficult squad to beat. Ramapo just 4 out of 16 from three-point range. They got to regroup. You know, there's more talent on this Roadrunner squad than the eye presents, but they got to figure it out. Ramapo now with this loss falling to 4-7, and they're in danger of falling pretty deep under 500 at the halfway point.
Yeah, for Muskingum on the other side, 6-3, fourth straight win for the Fighting Muskies, and didn't say a whole lot about this during the game, but credit Travis Schwab, the head coach. When Ramapo started to go to that press, he got a couple of baskets. Muskingum did turn the ball over 24 times in the game, but eventually they figured out a system where they were going to get open looks for other guys, and they were able to do that repeatedly. Open looks for for Bardell, who hit them, and for Singleton, and thank you very much for Dempsey, who hit them as well. Your final numbers here this evening: Muskingum shoots 58% from the field, 52% from 3, and 76% from the free throw line. Ramapo 48% from the field, 25% from behind the arc, 4 of 16. Just 52% from the foul line, and they were 40% at the end of the first half. Rebounds, advantage in favor of the Muskies by 10, 36-26. Probably by virtue of the fact that Muskingum just didn't miss very many shots. There weren't a whole lot there for them to rebound. They did finish with 21 turnovers to Ramapo's 8. And the individual numbers, again, Marcus Dempsey, 35 points, 10 of 17 from the floor, 4 of 8 from behind the arc, 11 of 13 from the foul line, 2 rebounds, 9 assists. He did have 6 turnovers and a full 40 minutes of action. 28 points for Singleton, 9 for Tyler Bardell on 3 threes, 6 points for Alex Massinelli, 5 apiece for Josh Huffman and Mitch Clark, and 2 points for Micah Keith. Minutes logged with no points scored for MJ Smith and Carson Carter. For Ramapo, leading scorer was Jason Battle. He had 19 points on 7 of 15 shooting. He also had 4 assists in 29 and a half minutes. Double-digit scoring night for Matt Lotka. He had 17, and Manny Warren Jr., he had 15. 8 points for Jordan Zagadou before fouling out. 7 points apiece for Connor Romano, Rob McWilliams, and Andre Morgan. Minutes logged without points for Mark Howell and Noah Bono. Again, Muskingum with the victory. They are 6-3. Ramapo with the loss. They dropped to 4-7. And we will wrap up this one, Ira, and get ready for the Fighting Thors of New Jersey City. That would be an awesome mascot, wouldn't it? Guy with flowing blonde hair.
We're going to have to start working on that after this tournament.
You could get maybe Noah Syndergaard to come and be your official mascot in the offseason.
The next game will be the Fighting Thors against the Happy Happles.
Central and Jersey City coming up for those of you on the East Coast who tuned in. Enjoy the rest of your evening, what's left of it. If you've got the energy, stay tuned. Still one more coming here from Las Vegas. Jersey City and Central College coming up in just a bit.